Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Broken Pixel here. Today we have a Minecraft build tutorial. We are going to look at the humble Minecraft starter base, as you can see behind me here. This is something that most of you guys or anyone just starting out playing Minecraft, something that this is what they'd end up building. Just a simple oak house with cobblestone roof. So again, this is just your standard typical build. I think even the ones you find in villages look better than this one here. There's nothing inside it really, it's just, you know, the simple, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide, maybe by 5, something along them lines. So yeah, the first thing that we can do to build this, to improve it, would be to add some shape. So you might have seen this in other videos on YouTube, but one thing that really does help a build is by adding in some other dimensions. So you can see here I've just copied the exact same block palette, it's the exact same style, it's just the oak wood with the cobblestone on the roof here. You know, so we've got something more interesting to look at really. We've got a little bit coming out the left hand side, the right hand side. We have increased the height just a little bit. It's essentially the same build, it's still 5 wide in this main bit here. It goes up a few blocks higher, as you can see here. So we've got room for an upstairs area, maybe a bedroom or something along those lines. Because what's really important when doing a build is obviously practicality is important, where you're going to put your stuff, and something this is, you know, it is enough for, you know, the first few days in Minecraft. You're going to have a crafting bench, maybe a furnace, a bed, and maybe even a chest for, you know, to keep items. But really, you know, that's all you're going to need. But you know, if you want to improve it, make it look nicer, then the next step would be to expand it. And this is, you know, one of the most important things I find is to actually theme your builds and think, okay, you know, if I was, you know, you use your imagination here, and you know, you're going to be living in this house. So at your own house, you know, where you live now, there's a living room in here, you know, a kitchen, an upstairs bedroom, that kind of thing. And you know, I've not done the interiors in these ones, as you can see, but yeah, you know, so these are the kind of things you need to think about. You know, adding some extra little nooks, crannies, something more interesting to look at in the eye, and even then you can see the difference between there and there. You know, that is a good bit improved since that, but we can do more. We can improve it more. So down here, next thing we can do is add some depth. Now this is really important in Minecraft, and most builds you see when it's a kind of house design, especially a wooden or medieval-y type houses, they're all about depth and using, you know, more, you know, it'd be nicer to your eye to look at. And you know, you look here, everything's just flat, everything's just, there's nothing to it here. So you know, these are an important step here, a technique to get into the habit of, is adding depth. So the way I've done it here, you know, it's easier if you're building it from scratch. If you're just laying out the foundations of a build, it's easier to think about how you're going to have blocks or pillars coming out. But you know, converting that straight from that to that, all I've done is add these oak beams coming up here, just going round like that. I've actually then extended the roof out one further than the beam itself, so it's actually 2 out from the walls, whereas it's at the same level here on the walls at this house. And again, what it does is it makes it look more interesting to the eye, and it looks more realistic. If you want to go with that, it doesn't look as blocky or Minecraft style, as you can see. So the next step that I would then take with the roof is, you know, this roof isn't interesting to look at. It's a bit boring, it's a bit bland, it's just cobblestone really. So you know, the design here is actually fine. You could get away with this design. It's just going, you know, 1 stair up every level. There's actually stairs underneath as well, to give it a little bit more of a thicker design, because if you take these ones out, whoops, I have broken that. So if you take these out, it just looks a bit weird because the stairs don't really connect. So it always looks nicer if you add some stairs underneath as well. So like I said, you could go with this design here, the way it goes up, and just a kind of smaller A-frame style here. This would look fine. One thing most people will do is, or to make it look nicer, is add in another colour here. So what I've done is just took the spruce planks in the centre, keeping the stone on the outside. I've just changed it to stone bricks, but cobblestone would have worked fine, and would have looked nice as well probably. I've actually changed the style of the roof as well. I just think this one looks a little bit nicer, just looks a little bit more grand, gives it a little bit more height again. If you look at the difference between that and the one down there that we started with, you'll see that a small tiny little, almost a shed like building has now became pretty impressive looking house, and pretty grand size, shape to it. Like I said, what we've done here, we just do a stair, then an upside down stair, a block, another stair on top, and then that pattern just repeats again, and then it meets in the middle with an upside down stair, a stair on top, one going the opposite way, and I've just completed that off with some slabs along the top. This here, it's a little bit of a strange design. This just happens because of the way that it's laid out, the way that the heights of these roofs here change. So another thing, sorry, that I didn't actually mention was when you're designing the shape and the bits of your building that maybe stick out coming to and from, it's always a good idea to have roofs that are facing the opposite direction, so have some of them facing this way, some of them coming out to the side. You could even add like smaller ones, so if this was maybe even a bigger build, you could add one here to the back, just coming out like that, as maybe like a back door porch sort of area. That's important for, again, just that variety and keeping it interesting to look at. The next thing we're going to do is add some detail and some design. So at the moment the shape is fine, we're happy with that, we're happy with the depth we've got on the beams, the design of the roof, everything's great, but it's not interesting to look at, is it? It's still something missing. So what we do here is we add some details. So how we can do that is adding in lights. These lanterns work really well with this style of build, using the kind of woodland, foresty type builds with a lot of oak or spruce wood. These lanterns look really nice. So I've just hung a few up there. Adding fences is another one. Again, don't really serve a purpose other than just to make it more interesting to look at. Again, with something else we can do is add in trapdoors. As you can see here, there's almost like shutters on the window. I've actually changed out the windows, so these were full glass blocks. I've actually changed them to glass panes, and I've used the white stained glass pane here. I think again adds a little bit more depth with the pane, and the white just stood out a little bit more than the clear. But there's plenty of other colours that would have worked in this build. I just kept it with white. I thought it looked alright. Something else we've done here is just added a little, almost like a little roof, just a little porch area over the door. Again, some more fences on the outside. Adding in these, you'll have seen these on most builds. Again, this style, it's just like a little flower pot, just a grass block with some trapdoors around it. And we're going to plant some flowers in there, don't worry. Something else I've done here, this side, was looking a little bit plain, and I didn't want it to be too similar to this side. So first of all, here we have just the design with some trapdoors, some fences, some flower pots, just a bit of everything, but it just makes it look a little bit more interesting. We've got a little hanging light here, glowstone, and some trapdoors around. I've used a hopper, which may be quite expensive if you're just starting out, but at this point, by the time you're building something like this, you're probably going to have enough resources to spare a hopper on making something look a little bit more fancy. So that's what we've got here. So like I said, on the other side we have just added a little balcony area, so a little bench here for seating. Added some sort of pathway, kind of patio type, and then instead a little balcony. It just makes this look a little bit more interesting as we go around the house. A little bit more dimension to it, and something else sticking out. I think that's really important to have. So the other thing is, we've added a chimney. I think this build over here at the back end, I wasn't quite happy with the way this roof was sitting on this beam here. Something about it was just off, and I thought, you know, adding a chimney would look quite nice, and it gets rid of that problem there. So that is another good technique to use when building. If you build something and there is a part of it that it's not quite sitting right with your design, it's, you know, the roof isn't connecting up properly as it is here. You know, you can play around with different designs. You can, I mean, what I could have done here is added another extension out here, out the back, maybe facing this way, giving another shape to it. But I decided to go with a chimney design. I think it turned out quite nice. It's probably a little bit too thick at the bottom here. Probably could be tapered in just a little, but I wanted to go with a kind of rustic, worn out feeling, as if this is, you know, maybe like an older cottage that's been left in the woods, you know, for many years. So over time, it's just, you know, the stones begin to crumble and break away. So that's why it's kind of thicker here. It tapers in at the top. Another good technique is just to put a campfire up at the top here and surround it by trapdoors. You know, the spruce ones are my favourite personally. I think the spruce trapdoor is up there with my top 3 favourite blocks in the game. I think it just adds so much to a build. You can add it as decoration, as, you know, as like top of chimneys. There's so much uses, so many uses for it. So that is where we're at, adding the detail. As you can see, the transformation between there and here is massive, and we haven't really changed much. The shape is the exact same shape. The roof is the exact same. Everything about it's the same. All we've done is take the walls, give them some life, give them some, you know, something interesting for the player to look at when, you know, when you're walking around in your world and you see this, and, you know, maybe you've got a few of them, you know, similar builds around it, you know, makes you feel immersed in the game, so to speak. So the next step after we do this would be to add in some nature. So, you know, using these leaf blocks again makes any build, I would say pretty much 90% of builds, if you add some leaves to it, they just look 100 times better. You know, no matter what it is, adding leaves and context obviously, but, you know, it does really help the build. So what we've got here, we've added leaves, I've added some spruce and some oak, mixed them together, gives a nice effect. I've added some tall flowers, small ones, berry bushes here, and the little window flower pots. I think that gives a nice effect. Another thing I've done here is create a path out the front. So again, we want this to feel lived in and used, and not just a kind of, you know, cottage that's sitting on the middle of grass with nothing else around it. You know, we add in some grass. I just bone mealed some grass around. Some broke a few, because when you just put bone meal down on grass, sometimes it goes a bit crazy. So just be careful when you're doing that. I like to bone meal then and break most of it away, leaving some of the grass, some of the tall grass, and I've actually placed these ferns with just in creative, but you can obtain them in survival. Again, adding the path though, I've just used jungle stripped logs, the path block, the coarse dirt, and just laid it out like this. I think it looks alright. It fits in with the style, and again, what this would do is connect, if you kept it ongoing, you connect it to the rest of your builds in your town or your village or whatever that is that you're building. Adding in path is a huge one for building. It just adds so much life and so much, you know, immersion to thinking, right, okay, this has obviously been walked on, this is why this bit's all worn away, so this is why it's like that. So that's pretty much it in terms of the build itself. We get to this point and, you know, you're quite happy. You know, it looks great, you're happy with it, you've got all the detail, you've got a little bit of nature in there with the bushes, with the leaves. So, you know, you could call this done, which essentially it is. But what we've got to remember is, you know, looking at it here, this is in a creative, super flat world on grass. So, you know, maybe use your imagination a little, but it looks a little bit out of place. So what I've done, or the next step that you could take if you wanted to really take your build to the next stage, is add in some, we'll just call it life, So what I've done here, it's a wandering trader, obviously. What I've done here is I've created some custom trees. I created one and I pasted a couple, but it's always a great idea to create custom trees. The normal Minecraft trees I've just put at the back here to simulate that it's sitting, this build is sitting in a, you know, like a forest or something, so you would have like maybe quite a lot of spruce trees around. But adding in some custom trees around every now and again just gives that feeling of, you know, of variety, because as you can see, the Minecraft trees, I mean, they're fine trees, but it's a bit boring if it's just these trees. So I've added a little bit of height to them, a little bit more leaves to them, and I said you can go crazy with these, make massive trees, small trees. You can even use the fences in the middle to create like smaller kind of bush trees. I've bone mealed quite a little bit more just to make it look more natural. Another thing I've created here is just like bushes with the leaves and the berry bushes around. I've added this log pile, so in my imagination for this build it would be a kind of like a logging hut or cottage in the middle of the forest. So like a lumberjack maybe lives here, and you know, so he chops down the spruce trees in the forest, and you know, he ties them down. There's little wood chips lying around and things like that, and it just gives, again, the same as the detail there, that little bit of immersion. We've still got the path, and saying this connects up now to like a well we've got here, and just imagine that goes deeper than where it goes. But yeah, just a little bit of a well design. You use some of the mossy stone just to simulate the moisture of the well here. But again, what you would do is further connect this path up to, you know, maybe like a stables sort of here that the lumberjack uses to get in and out of his base. You can even connect up to some other bases or houses that maybe also live in this logging village town sort of area. But like I said, this is all down to your imagination at this point of where you want to take your build. That is going to be it for me in this video. I hope you have all enjoyed. Please stay tuned for more content like this. I hope to bring some more videos with similar themes to them like this one. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like. It would mean the world to me. And please leave a comment for any suggestions of videos you might want to see, anything you want to see me try and build, or even suggestions of how I could improve. I'm always looking to be able to improve as well, so if you've got things that you think you could do and improve this build, I'm all ears for that as well. And any questions that anyone has on this design or any other design, feel free to ask. And please also consider subscribing to the channel. I said I will be bringing hopefully more content and videos like this one with tutorials and maybe some other type of content in the future. So that will be all from you guys. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you again hopefully in the future. Bye bye.